Hey, it's the Brian and Kindra Show.
Hey, welcome. We are excited to give you some information.
We're just excited.
We're going to clear up some mud, or we're going to make it muddier.
We're going to do something.
Yes. Well, we're going to just pass on some information and our thoughts.
Let's talk about the rodeo last week. How was it?
Hot.
Oh, yeah.
It's hot. I went Saturday. We worked the front gate, me and Shane and Julia. Richard ran the back gate every night. But we got to greet people and welcome people, and it was, I had so much fun. I should do that every night. Just hanging out. And
I was sad I didn't get to join you. I thought it would be fun, but we had some plans on Friday or Saturday evening whenever you did that, so I wasn't able to.
Well, and Shane
Maybe
DeLong,
next year.
Yeah, Shane DeLong is our new real estate agent here at the office, and he got stuck with directing traffic. So as they would get out of the cars, he'd be like, "Okay, tickets, cash, whatever tickets." And he said he had from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, he had like 11,000 steps.
Isn't that crazy?
I was like, wow.
That's awesome.
I didn't even get enough words out. I don't know I don't even know if I got a lot of words out, but yeah.
That's funny. So
it was a fun time. We met a lot of people and people came from all over. It was amazing how many people go to the rodeo. It was hot and people in long sleeve shirts, and I did wear my cowboy hat, which was awesome.
Which
and what's
one?
funny again, yeah.
Did you wear your sparkly one or did you wear your normal one?
Yeah, just the normal. But it was funny because I had, there was only a few people there like, "Wait, Brian?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Never seen you in a cowboy hat." No, you're right. You are right.
You're kind of going back to your roots.
Yes. Well, I put all of them in the attic till next year.
Until next year. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so rodeo, it is. So I love that about the Woodward Elks Rodeo is that
it's one of the top tourism things in Woodward.
It's really, really, really fun.
Yeah.
And it's great to be able to get out there and hang out with some different people. Yeah. So if you got to see Brian, good for you. If it made you think about anything you were needing to ask him real estate-wise, do let us know. So Brian's 580-334-2303, and I'm 580-216-0090. We also gave away a hat last week, and that was way, way fun.
Yeah.
And so I got to connect with some people I hadn't talked to in a bit. So that was somebody said, "You need to do this more often." I thought, I know. I just reconnected with a whole bunch of friends.
It was great. It's great.
Yeah. So
we'll
anyway.
It's fireworks season.
Oh, so maybe we'll have some fun fireworks.
We're going to give away fireworks.
Awesome. Can't wait. Okay, so we can get into the nitty gritty, but I wanted to just go back to that because I think, man, I love the rodeo. You know that.
Yes.
But this year I didn't make it. My schedule was wonky, and I'm just wonky. Let's be real. I just couldn't quite get things scheduled this time.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk about something that you may have been hearing on the news. We're going to talk about the NAR settlement. That is really affecting the realtors, not just in Woodward, all across the nation, particularly realtors that are members of the National Association of Realtors. You may not have heard anything on it because it may not pique your interest. I've thought, I wonder who really has paid attention to this. But now that we're really getting into it and it's going to make a little bit of a difference, it might scare you some if you are a buyer. We just want to get some education out and just help you to understand a little bit. So Brian is going to take the lead on this one.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay.
Because this is definitely more your brain. But you've done a good job of reading. Yeah, those aren't your reading glasses. Those are...
Still can't see. It's blurry and confusing with glasses as without glasses.
That's the whole thing. And it feels like about the time I kind of think I've got it in my mind, it feels like something might change a little bit again.
Yeah, and it's still in negotiations and things are still changing and there's still some backlash and some changes. And so
let's start with what it is.
Number one, what is it? Well, there was a lawsuit brought against a real estate company due to a collusion of commission, basically saying, "Hey, you guys are colluding to drive the cost of commissions up." Well, that statement right there is false because we are based on a percentage So if the price of houses go up, then our commission goes up. If the price of houses goes down, our commission goes down. So we were really a inflation tolerant system.
So do you want me to push it back? Like, do you want me
yes.
to create argument?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because, like, in my mind, I can hear what somebody would say back to that. So I think if I were not in real estate, if I were a seller and I were calling all the different agencies, and I kept hearing different agencies saying, we charge this, we charge this, we charge this, and it's pretty consistent across the board, that would feel as though
we have colluded.
Right. So I realize what you're saying with it being percentage, but if everybody has the same percentage, I can see how one would say, yeah, but you're all charging the same percentage. And if one of you goes up, the others of you go up.
But they haven't in 40 years.
Well, that's true. Actually, we went down. I always bring that up.
Yes, we did.
I always
Remember
bring that
2012. Yeah, when we started, we went down.
You and I started with the same company.
Yeah.
And the company that we started with, their commission was 1% higher than what we charge within our office.
Right.
So we've actually gone down.
Yeah.
But my gosh, I mean, you've been doing this for 20-something years. Well, 30. How many?
20.
My bad.
2 years. I know you. I look 60, but
I just had a moment. Okay, so
is it the
number
glasses?
1. So how do you answer that?
Okay, so first the settlement. Let me bounce back that. So somebody got sued, saying that they were colluding and that the sellers shouldn't have to pay the buyer's commission, and well, it was a lot of misinformation and improperly trained agents that created this whole thing. I mean, if it was done in the beginning the correct way, it would have changed things. I think we had.
Gotcha.
I think this is going to hinder the industry. It's going to make some agents that are really good at their job, like us, we will make more money. So I don't like it for the consumer.
Right.
Because now it's going to force some things upon them that is taking away free will. Like it's going to take away some of their negotiation power. So when you meet your first agent at the first house, you're going to sign a contract. How about if you don't like that agent after the first meeting?
We got to rewind.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Man,
I'm going way fast. Yeah.
So just forget everything that he just said.
Yeah, just say that, yeah.
Okay, so let's just go back real quick, bullet point the premise. The premise of the settlement was that somebody had sued a whole bunch of realtors and the National Association of Realtors and some big franchises, actually Keller Williams.
Coldwell Banker, Real, all the big ones, yeah.
Okay, so they sued and they said, we're suing because we believe that you've been colluding. Everybody's agreeing. It's kind of like I don't know what I'm saying.
DOJ, Department of Justice, was also involved saying,
yes.
This is a monopoly style. You can't do that.
That's what I wanted to say, but then I second-guessed myself.
Yep.
Okay, so all of that to say, so then the settlement comes back and it says, from this point forward, buyers are going to have to sign a buyer-broker agreement with whoever shows them a house. Like, we cannot show a house after a certain date to a buyer without having them sign an agreement with us saying, hey, listen, we understand that we have to pay our own commission now, and this is what we are agreeing to pay. We'll get into some nitty-gritties of that. Don't panic, but stick around because you're going to want to know what that really means and how it can be worked around, especially if you're a buyer who's already panicking because you think, I can't really afford to buy a home. Now I have to find out how to pay commission because in the past you didn't feel like you paid commission. Right. So that's kind of the nitty-gritty. Like, that's just cut and dry. This really goes into effect August 17th.
If they don't change it again.
They've already changed it. It was supposed to be in July, and now it's in August. So we don't know. Maybe it'll be Christmas. Anyway, okay, so that's kind of the premise. Now back to the thing. So it came down to the colluding, and I asked you the hard question.
I'm going to read this.
Okay.
It says the case against NAR was brought forth by the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ. The DOJ accused NAR, National Association of Realtors, of practices that allegedly stifled competition and resulted in a higher cost for consumers. It's weird. So that's their statement, basically saying that we concluded, kept the prices high, which we didn't keep them high. They're just still there. They're still where they were. But
right.
And then the National Association they reached the settlement in response to the allegations of an anti-competitive practices. Well, I think we're highly competitive. I don't know where they even got that. But so
I'm thinking of a couple of agents that I love to work with, especially cooperatively, but also competitively. Like there's one, and I mean, she's one of my, can I just say it? Like, can I just go ahead and, like Linda Freeman is like, I love working with Linda. Like, she is a great co-op agent. But we are also competitive, and we kind of giggle sometimes. Like, she'll say something to you and you'll respond, and I'm sitting back here like, oh, I don't want to hear any of this. And you guys crack me up because you're both pretty competitive. But when it comes down to it, you're also very cooperative in handling our transactions and helping our buyers and sellers to get to where they want to go.
Yeah.
We're definitely a competitive group.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, moving on.
So NARQ, so the allegations in NAR, they were accused of these policies that inhibited competitive pricing among real estate agents and brokers, which is crazy, such as mandating certain commission structures and limiting transparency regarding those fees. So also it goes back to transparency. Transparency is a huge theme in this lawsuit. They want more transparency. So, but if you look on Zillow and you look at a house you want to buy on Zillow, if you'll scroll down just a little bit, it states exactly how much the real estate commission the buyer broker is making in Zillow, a public website. I'm not sure how that's not transparent. So again, so the agents, so partly it comes back to the transparency and that topic. Agents have failed explaining how commissions work. And that's kind of why they got in this lawsuit. So for example, if I list your house, and I list it for X%, we're going to get into math. X%, because we're not supposed to discuss commissions. So X%.
Wait, finish that sentence. We're not supposed to discuss commissions.
Because that would be colluding.
With other agents. So because we don't really know who's listening, and if there's other agents, we don't want to collude, so that's why we're not going to discuss numbers.
Just keep it.
Obviously, whenever you call us and you need to discuss commission, then we are going to have to discuss commission, and we can.
Yes. So we charge X%. So I list your house, we put it on the market, and we market your house. I charge you % to market your house. Now, if a buyer comes along and I sell your house to the buyer, I keep all %. Okay, X%.
I know, like you just said it, and then you said, and I'm over here like, did you see my eyes get even bigger?
I did,
like,
I thought, what did I say wrong?
Why are her eyes popping out of her noggin?
So
like, for
if
real.
another broker brings a client, then they will get half of the X% commission.
Oh,
I'm working on it.
I think I'm going to cry right now.
So they'll get half of it. Now, because they get half, why do I keep all of it if I sell it? Well, we're marketing, so half of that commission is for marketing. And we're going to market to all of these people, which include the public and all of the agents in town. We're marketing your property to all of the public to find you a buyer and all of the other agents in town. And if they have a buyer, then we're going to pay them a marketing fee of half of the commission because they're marketing to buyers. So that's how that works.
But what you just said, I think, is one of the important things. Like, you as a selling agent are paying X amount of commission.
Yes.
It's not the seller paying the commission to the other agent. You are sharing your commission with the other agent.
Yes.
That's the important thing that wasn't expressed well to begin with.
Right.
Right? And I mean, to begin with, like, that's what happened with this whole thing with this settlement with the lawsuit.
Yeah.
Is that agents were saying the seller's going to pay your commission to the buyer, but that's not accurate.
That's not true.
The seller is paying their agent a commission, and then their agent says, I'm willing to share X amount of commission to the selling agent, the buyer's agent. To
entice them to bring buyers.
Yes, because we want
It's marketing. It's marketing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're exactly right.
I'm sorry. We don't get to hear that very often.
More than just normal right.
Nathan Nathan just did this awesome little, does Brian need a bleep button? Yes, Brian does.
Not because I have foul language, but I say numbers that I'm not supposed to.
That's true. We've never had an issue with that on air.
Really.
It's just you yelling out numbers. But you are a numbers guy. I know how much you love saying your numbers. Okay, go on. You can say all the numbers you want after this recording is over.
Yeah. So it goes back to that. The seller is not, I mean, in essence, the money trickles down. So I saw one example of the guy said, all right, so the seller is paying the agent, the seller's agent, the listing agent's paying the buyer's agent. Mm-hmm. So who paid it? Well, the listing agent. Well, who paid the listing agent? John Doe. Well, wait a second. Where'd John Doe get the money to pay him? From his boss. Oh, so his employer paid his commission? See what I'm saying? Like they trickled it all the way back. Like who really pays the commission? Well, I mean, it's where do you stop the line? It all goes back to the wording. All goes back to the language that if I'm listing your house, I'm listing it for X%. And then I'm going to use that money to market it how I feel necessary to get your property sold as quick as possible for the most amount of money.
Okay, so one of the things that came up was the transparency of how all of the paying gets, how the commissions are going to be paid. Yeah. So currently, what does that look like? Let's go with what it is today, what we're going to see in the future.
Okay, so today, you pay me X%.
Good job.
Yep. And then we're going to market your house, put it on the market. We're going to cooperate with every agent around. We're going to sub-feed this thing to every website out there to get your information out to as many people as possible. When an agent, whether it's me or another agent around, brings an offer or a contract, that side of the contract will get half of my
I'm going to admit, I kind of zoned for like 5 seconds, and I'm sorry, but I think you know.
Yes.
Okay, because you do it too.
Yeah.
But how does the other agent know what you're going to pay them right now?
Okay, so we publish it on the multiple listing service, the MLS, which then they transfer that to the public sites like realtor.com and Zillow.com. It is public what the buyer agent is going to get paid. Does that answer your question?
I think so. I do want to clarify one thing. So this weekend, you sent me, I'm sorry, I got distracted, and I apologize, but I think I'm going to be able to keep it together. Okay. Maybe. This weekend, you texted me or called me on Saturday morning at like really kind of an hour I wasn't ready to visit with you. When I was outside sitting on my patio with my dog, and you said, hey, I need to show, I want to make this point later. You wanted to show 9 houses, literally 9 homes between Fargo and Cheyenne, Oklahoma. So it was like this crazy, I wish you guys could see on the radio how this, like it went from, so here's how it went. It went Fargo, Woodward, Sharon, Mutual. Technically, it was supposed to be Chester. Then it was supposed to be Fairview. Then it was supposed to be Cheyenne. Did I miss any?
Visay.
Oh, I missed Visay. Okay. So, and we ended up being able to put that over 3 or 4 days. But whenever I sat down to like do the schedule, do the map, how long is it going to take? Where do I schedule him? How much do I give him at each house? And then I realized I think about half of those were on our MLS. So then I'm looking at Zillow. How much is the other agent willing to pay the co-op agent? And I wasn't able to find a number every time.
Oh, really?
No, I had to ask specifically. I think this might be a change. So I just want to make this little caveat. I think some things might have changed already because of the settlement. I think 3 months ago, it would have shown me willing to co-op here. What I saw this time was like one of them was with a different MLS, and it said agent is willing to co-op with someone within their own MLS. And so I had to ask that agent specifically, hey, are you willing to pay the buyer's broker in this transaction? Yes. And then they sent me the amount they were willing to pay. So I wanted to just throw that out real quick because I just did it, and I looked, but you might go look behind me. I mean, I'm certainly not fallible, but I do think that might have already changed.
Yep.
Okay, so moving on. So because that takes us right into what's going to happen next.
What's going to happen?
So what's going to happen next is that's not going to be published.
It's not going to be published. So now,
which seems less transparent to me.
I'm going to set up. So a buyer contacts me to go look at houses. So now I've got, here's why I think it's great. Now I'm going to meet with the buyer and we're going to sign a contract. I'm going to do what I can to help you buy a house. and find a house. It might be a house that didn't have a sign in the yard, and you're like, Brian, I want to buy that house, and I'm going to go knock their door, which I love to do, by the way.
You do.
I'm going to talk them into selling that house. So I don't mind doing that. So you're hiring me now to be your professional house hunter. I'm going to go find that sucker. So, and then you're going to sign a compensation agreement with me that says it's worth this much money, generally in a percentage of what I'm going to charge you to go find that house.
Right.
So, which is usually X, half of X. So
you guys feel like you're in algebra?
Yeah. So you're going to sign this contract. So here's what I do like about it. Now I'm going to sit down with you. More than likely, a lot of the times houses, we just meet at houses and open houses, and we meet and we go and we race. And sometimes you don't actually get a feel of what they exactly want. If I stick them in my car and I drive around with them, I get a whole lot more feeling of what they want because I spend more time with them. So if I have a buyer in my office and we sit down in advance and be like, okay, here's the houses. Here's why do you like these? Why do you hate these? What is the big turn-ons and turn-offs? And that way, then I kind of have a more scheduled events. Right now, there's not very many houses in Woodward, so we just go look at everything. And I get to feel you, know you, while kind of what your wants are.
You know what you said,
I
don't
know
you?
I did.
He's not going to touch y'all. He ain't going to do it.
So
you get a feel of what someone wants.
Right.
I got it.
Yeah. And so that way I get to know you better and your personality and what you're struggling to buy because there's not very many options. So
no, there's not.
So now I have that pre-meeting. We'll probably still go look at everything.
Right.
But I have the pre-meeting, so I have a more sample of what you like. So, for example, I showed people yesterday 1 billion houses all over the world. They have a horse. So I messed up because I got in a hurry and I thought, oh, these are edge of town. These are great. Both of the houses they love cannot have horses on the property.
Really?
They're both in the city limits.
Oh, doggone it.
So I almost wasted my time showing them those two houses.
Right.
Which is frustrating. But I know exactly what they want. And I've already called code, which is why we're agents and we're helping.
Right.
I've already called code enforcement. I'm getting the paperwork, and we're going to put it in our offer that they will change the zoning so they can have a horse if they decide to buy that property, which is why you hire a good agent. We're going to fix it. Obviously, we messed up the first round. They wouldn't even have looked at those houses.
Gotcha.
Because of the horse restriction, but I know how to fix it. So then I had a house in mind, but I couldn't show it to him because it's for sale by owner, and the for sale by owner does not want to pay us.
Right.
Now, with this system, I'll have a contract with you that says it doesn't matter. You're paying me.
Right.
I'm going to try to get it from the seller, but if they won't pay me, then you pay me. And now I'm going to show you, I don't care whether there's a sign or a rumor or I don't care. We're going to go find a house.
I have a story about that, but I don't want to stop what we're doing, but I have to tell you this story later. It might be the next show. Okay, but what you just said, because I hear, I just felt a whole bunch of buyers just panic and go, second their breath. Oh, no, I'm never going to be able to buy a house because you just said, so you buyer, from now on, if the seller will not pay me, I'm going to charge you.
Yes.
What about the buyer who just can't pay?
So we will add it to the sales price.
Okay. What if it doesn't appraise?
Then it's a bad deal.
Okay, so we can see that there's going to be some challenges, but we already are thinking, how can we work around this? What can we do differently? How can we help you? If you're the buyer that's panicked because you've been hearing about the settlement and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm never going to, hurry up, buy your house now.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We never want you to buy under pressure. I just had to say it because it popped in my head. Okay, let's talk about impulsive. But if you're the buyer that's panicked because you're thinking, I'm never going to be able to buy a house. I can barely do a down payment. I can barely do my closing costs, yada, yada, yada. Let's talk before you panic too much. We'll still be working the same way we always did to try to negotiate for you because that's what we do. We negotiate with you. You tell us what your needs are. We put it into the contract and we can work on that for you. So don't quit. Don't quit. Let's get started, right?
Yes.
Okay, what's another? You've got 3 minutes.
3 minutes. So number one, as a buyer, be very careful what you sign. So right now, they are already changing the online systems like homes.com, realtor.com, Zillow.com They're already changing
gosh.
it. Where you log in and you're shopping, you're like, oh, I'd love to look at this house. And you click, I want to look at this house. You're going to sign an online form that ties you to Zillow.
We really recommend you.
Oh, so you're going to hire a guy sitting behind a desk in California to help you buy a house? No. Go talk to if you're looking to buy a house, go talk to an agent first, a local agent first.
Right.
Go talk to a local agent first.
I'm sorry, what?
Local agent first.
Are you saying a
First.
local agent first?
First.
Okay.
Then you still don't have to sign anything until you go look at houses. But just go talk to a local agent first. They can hook you up on systems that show you everything Zillow does without signing that dumb thing. Okay? And then you get a feel of who you're working with. Then you can sign that agreement. Okay? So you're going to have to sign something anyway. The other thing is, with reduced commission rates, often comes reduced services. So in this whole system, you're going to start seeing agents reducing their fees because they are compensating for something, which is generally service. So as service, it's just like anything you do. If you want to go pay $10 for a set of tires or $100 for a set of tires, what are you going to get? Used tires or new tires?
Right.
Okay, so the quality of agent justify their rates through their superior service that they provide. If your transactions have always been smooth as a seller or a buyer, you've either had a great agent or you've been lucky.
Right.
You won't know the value of your agent until you have a bad one.
Unfortunately, isn't that the truth?
Yes.
And so we recently had customers that you'd worked with before, and now we've worked with them again. And this time, as they're purchasing in a different community, he said to me, I had no idea what we had until we didn't have it. Can you just move with us?
Yeah.
And don't think I didn't want to.
Oh, yes.
But we know we want to keep providing the best service. So instead, we found them we are giving them some tips for some better agents. Okay.
Yep.
I want to ask this question too.
Okay.
Actually, I've got two, and I'm afraid we're going to not have time. What does this look like for an open house?
So open houses, so I think they're going to have all kinds of new forms coming. We don't even know what they're going to require
That's
yet
true.
on that.
We don't have all the forms out yet.
So yeah, so not even probably a quick like, hey, I don't want to be represented by an agent on this house until I want a contract.
Gotcha.
So it's probably going to be some kind of a statement like that they sign, is what I'm assuming. It will change. It will be more complex. There will be some more expenses on the buyer side. Obviously, the competent, experienced agents this will separate them real quick.
I wanted, man, we're out of time. Okay. We might hit a couple more of these things on our next
week.
show. So go ahead and make sure that you listen then to. We're also going to talk again about why we we keep saying use a local agent, use a local realtor, use a local realtor. We want to tell you why on our next show. We want to just
That's
remind
because
you
people
again.
all over the world listen to us and we can't help them all.
Ain't it the truth? Okay, but we are out of time. So thank you so much for joining us today. And we hope that this was helpful. Kindra Brown, 580-216-0090.
Brian Cook, 580-334-2303.
All right, we will see you guys next time.